Hello, welcome to a spanking brand new reading vlog. I'm gonna be reading 2 vampire books. Maybe I'll find some other ones that are gonna be really fun, but I also just want to do some vlogging at like the startup process because of the queer bookstore cafe called The Pond that I'm opening together with my partner and a friend, and I'm here now and I wanted to show you around. We have decided to do DIY everything ourselves, so this is gonna be the back counter, and right now it is a mess because there's just like tools and stuff and things everywhere. Here we have freezer. This is our board that we use for like mapping things out. Of course, blow high. The bookshelves will be here. This is kind of like the main room where you walk in. I don't know if you can get a good picture. I started working on the window display not that long ago. It's already looking like, you know, it's really happening. We laid down the vinyl flooring. Here we have the back room sink. We put this together yesterday. All the trash that needs to be taken out. I'll have like a desk here somewhere that I can sit and work. Here is the second like book room kind of. We did like paneling all along the wall because I watched so many like renovation videos and I'm just obsessed with paneling and I really wanted to try it somewhere, and our home is just not really viable for that. So I'm so excited I got to try out paneling here. It looks really cute. We got these chairs. Yeah, this is it's like just food and snacks and everything everywhere. And then here are the bookshelves. It's been a journey because I originally oiled them. They didn't turn dark enough, and then I decided to stain them. And because I already oiled them, they are all like splotchy. Yeah, you can see it's like white bits. So I have to sand them all down again and then stain them again and then put varnish on the top, which has just been a mess. And then you walk through this little hallway from that room, and then we have like a second room. We've made some decorations with these like splotches. Colorful, woo! We got a couch. We have a table that looks like a pond that has to be painted. Some mugs that we're gonna use for coffee. Then we have technically one more room, but we have no idea what we're doing with it yet because this room also goes outside and we don't like the idea of having 2 entrances, so it becomes a little tricky to have people in this room, especially like books and stuff. This is the dishwasher, but we're gonna return it because we got one secondhand instead, which is great. Another couch, books. I also have here my first book order, which was the most exciting thing ever. So that's like tiny little tour and update on opening a queer bookstore. We've been doing this for like 1.5 months now, like since we got the place. But it's been like going slow because had since in school and working and doing this, and we've been here like from like 9 to 7 every single day, and we're just very tired. I always just really want to open, but today's reading vlog, oh my god, I have to go out again to the other room. Yesterday was a Thursday, preferably written like this, Thursday, because I started a buddy read with Sean from Past Story Time. Let me see if I can find the book. Of Thirst. Oh my god, I forgot to look up how to say this name. By Marina Shushushuk, maybe is how you say it. So I actually was supposed to read 50 pages yesterday, but I forgot to bring this book home with me. And so I had to like buy an e-copy, and then I didn't have enough time to read because I was like trying to figure that out. So I think I read like 35 pages. So I have a little bit more catching up to do today, but essentially I know that this is lesbian and it's a vampire story, and I originally heard about it from Malls by Moonlight on Bookstagram. And so far it was like a prologue with this mother and a child being at a cemetery, and the child was just kind of playing around, the mother was being a little dodgy. That's my perception of their relationship. And then it jumps to like a different eye perspective following this vampire. And I think I finished that chapter, but that's all I've read. So I'm very excited. The language is like easy but captivating. We've gotten quite a bit of, is it called exposure? It's not exposure. Exposition, there we go. But I'm excited for like the plot to start. I'm very intrigued about this. I also read or finished yesterday this book, Sunbathers, that I was going to include in this vlog because I thought it was a vampire book. It's not. It's like a short novella cli-fi. I have no clue what rating to give it because it's actually not very well written. the story, just everything just happens too fast and it's too unbelievable. But I was engaged, you know, like I was into the story. So I have no clue what to rate it. It's not vampire, but there's cannibalism and vampire-like qualities, but the vampires in that one, they kind of like feast off of the sun and they don't need blood, so it's not really a vampire story, but that was also lesbian and vampire adjacent. But this is what I'm going to start with reading at this vlog, and then I'm going to be reading an arc. I'll also take you along a little bit about what we've been up to for the pond. Please go follow Instagram and TikTok. It's just the.pond.cph. CPH standing for Copenhagen, where it is. So I'm gonna get started on the bookshelves, and maybe I'll clean up a little bit too. It is many hours later, 4:20, and I finished doing these shelves. I've, what is it called? Sanded them all down. I had to switch to like electric sander because my shoulder is just so much pain. And I've cleaned these, but I still need to clean like more than half. But I'm gonna take a reading break. I have some catching up to do from yesterday's reading of Thirst, and I'll do that now. So I am at the beginning of, you can't see anything, chapter 3, and I'm quite enjoying the book. I have no clue the timeline of things because we're kind of getting like just a fast track story of our main character, vampire, and it starts from like way before the World Wars. I would think maybe like the 1800s, maybe all the way back to like Dracula times. Maybe Dracula is the one who made her. I'm not really sure about the specifics or like the assumptions that the authors wants us to make, but it goes past like the World Wars, and we're still like we're not getting caught up on like what's going to happen in now time. I'm excited to see what like the actual plot of the book is going to be, because even though I know this is a lesbian vampire story, but that's like everything I know about it. It kind of feels like storytelling in a way. Like when I'm reading the text, I can imagine just someone like reading the story out loud to me, which is kind of what I feel like it's sounding like in my head, but it doesn't feel old-timey, but it has a kind of like, yeah, a storytelling feeling to it without feeling fairy tale like. I guess kind of like in a way the way Dracula was written. It's very well written, it's very captivating, but yeah, I'm excited to get to the plot and also to know more about like what the prologue was all about and how it connects. It's all about her just being thirsty for blood, and then sometimes she gets distracted. It doesn't seem like she's immune to sunlight. We just know that she lives forever and she drinks blood. But I'm very excited to continue, so that's good. Okay, I'm staining the last set of bookshelves now. I'm learning stuff every single day, and what I learned today is that I'm never staining wood again. They're just incrementally better. They're not that much better. It's not. Was it worth? I would say it's worth it, but I spent all day doing this. It's 8 o'clock, came here at 10. I've not been good with like eating properly. I'm just so ready to be home, but I also just really want to be done with this. I've been doing these shelves, fixing them up for a month, probably, on and off. I'm so tired of them. So it's the next day, and how this is working today. So I'm just here trying to like clean up today. Also staining yesterday. Not smart, wear gloves. But basically I'm reading the book on this app. It's just been really good that I can just read it on the metro and bus and just take up my phone. And it like, you can have it any size you want and stuff. So it's just a really great app, but I don't know how ethical it is, so I won't talk more about it because I haven't looked into who owns it and whatnot. But yeah, so I chatted a little bit with Sean yesterday because I'm buddy reading this book with her. We both agreed that it's kind of like modern gothic vibes. It's sort of like Dracula, but it's not, it's cliche sometimes. And I haven't mentioned this, but I watched, like marathon watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer for the first time last month, and I was just like obsessed with it. Like, it's just so camp and so funny at times. And so right now, like, cliche writing doesn't really bother me. And I was also wrong about the now time being past World War I or II. It was actually right now we are in Buenos Aires in 1970s, I think, around the time where yellow fever was happening there. And it's kind of like insinuated that she brought the yellow fever with her. We don't know where she was originally from. We're thinking somewhere in Europe. I'm also really looking forward for us to catch up into like now time, but because we're still like learning about her past and we're getting like looks into specific events or people she killed or people who was important to her, she has this like need to want to hold on to her past, tries different methods of like integrating to society, not integrating to society. She obviously doesn't want people to know about like vampires. I really hope the book does something different, you know? It just feels kind of classical at this point, and I want it to like surprise me or have like a twist or something that would be so epic. So I'm really looking forward to that. That's the update on the book. I'm gonna keep cleaning up. I was so beat yesterday when I finished the lighting, Jesus, the bookshelves. But they're looking okay. And the hardware store kind of has closed down today, so I'm gonna have to get like polish another day and do that, which is good, I think, even though I really want to continue and just finish them, just because my body is in so much pain. I cleaned up a little bit in here. I'm gonna take a bunch of trash. Very boring stuff. Probably look through bills. I'm trying to figure out this bookkeeping program. I've just never used a bookkeeping program, so that's fun. Nah, boring bookstore stuff today. Where are we going?
No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, those are my YouTube friends.
I was just kidding. I was supposed to be. We're going to IKEA.
IKEA.
And then hopefully to bakery, that'd be like.
Bake my day. I'm sitting outside IKEA and I'm waiting for Hertis to pick up like donuts from Bake My Day. Very excited about that. We got some stuff from IKEA and I'm reading the book. The perspective of like the vampire has kind of ended and we're now following sort of now perspective, and it's the same perspective from like the prologue chapter. So obviously like this woman that we now know has a son called Santiago. Her mother is dying, and we will kind of see how these two people connect, and it's like a little bit predictable at this point, but I also can't wait to see like what actually happens, how it turns out. It's a lot about death, about like the representation of death in society, what role it plays, like the connotations we put on it, how we deal with it. Yeah, it's a lot of themes around death and bodies and dying, stuff like that. I'm enjoying it. I was a little bored at some point, but I'm excited to continue. Wow. Gingerbread and what?
Caramelized apple.
Gingerbread and caramelized apple. Wow, it's good.
Train?
This is kind of a workout.
Oh no.
What are we having had this?
Cheesecake.
Before dinner?
Yeah.
So I finished Thirst midday today when I was on the bus on my way when I was picking up this like antique table. I got really into what was happening because it was just like the character dynamics between the vampire and our other character that we meet in like the first chapter. The plot was progressing a little bit, I may say. And I actually don't want to talk like too much about the themes because I feel like the slow progression of the themes and like how we kind of got to understand more of like why the story was written in these like sort of two parts with two different characters, like the way it wove together through the themes of the story was like very beautiful and subtle, but also profound in a way. Like I felt like I got the messaging, but it also like challenged me to like think about it and it wanted me to think about it, like encouraged me to think about the themes and stuff like that. But it's a lot about like death, I would say, in general, in an interesting way. So I ended up really liking it. I also had a really fun time like buddy reading it with Sean. Like life has been just a lot, and it feels nice to like talk to someone like outside of my little bubble, and I have to like remind myself like, oh yeah, I need to do that. But it was really fun. I liked it a lot. So thank you, Sean. I had a great time. So I'm giving it like 4.25 or 4 stars. I haven't decided yet. But very exciting other news is that I requested 2 queer vampire books off of NetGalley, and I got both of them approved, and I'm very excited about it. One of them you've probably seen before, like it's been around a lot more. This pillow's here. It's Hungerstone. Actually, let me just find it so I can talk about them. I also recently changed my NetGalley profile to bookseller. Super exciting. I felt real. Hungerstone by Kat Dunn, coming out 18th of February, so I'll be reading that one in this vlog, as well as Vampires at Sea by Lindsay Merbaum, which I have not like heard anything about. I have heard a bit about Hungerstone, but I don't know if it's like good or not. But I'm really excited about both of these books, and then we can continue the little vampire theme. I did request both of them just because of this vlog. I know I don't need to do theme vlogs, but I just find them like fun. It's fun for me. Also, then I get really into the vampire thing, and I also feel like this is my grieving that Buffy the Vampire Slayer is over, because I finished that and it was like a hole in my life. They consumed my life, and now it's gone, and I need to fill it with something. And I think queer vampire stories is just the way to go. I used to be really into vampire stories when I was a teenager. It's like how I got into reading through Twilight, and then also I read like almost all of the True Blood series, or is it Dead Before Dark series, and then I read the first 4 Vampire Diary series, the original, but they're really bad. And then I read like the Accidentally Dead books, which is like different types of supernatural creatures. I read so many vampire books. This is like pre me recording my reading on Goodreads, you know, like as a teenager. So because of these are arcs, I'm gonna be reading them both on my Kindle, which is like less fun for like speed throughs and filming. And I also miss reading books physically. So Vampires at Sea, people are saying that it's smart, sexy, wickedly funny. It's camp, fast-paced novella. That sounds good. It's 168 pages, so it would be nice to read something like that. And then Hungerstone. Hungerstone is a romance. Okay, and it's 336 pages. I hear you. I hear you. Because Vampires at Sea is a bit shorter, I think maybe I'll just start with that one. So, I'm now at the pond. I've made myself a cup of coffee. What's it called? Refrigerator that we got is so loud, and I'm just so worried that it's gonna be annoying and too buzzy for a bookstore. But I started Vampires at Sea yesterday, the novella, and it's like kind of erotica. It's very like in your face, and it's very fast paced. It's almost written like stream of consciousness, but it's just very intense, and it jumps a lot through like different thoughts, and it's fast paced. It's very different. It's like more of like a fun, sexy, erotic like rap story, which is very different from Thirst, which was more like quiet and slow. This one is just kind of chaotic vampire vibes. So it's about these like 2 super old vampire siblings. I forget their name, but I think maybe they're like been taken from legend or something. And they're also dating, and they're siblings, and they're married. And they're like semi-famous because they can use like their glamour to get whatever they want. And then her in the relationship, she got this like advertisement for a queer cruise, and she basically convinced her husband / brother to come with her on this. And they do like these like sexual polyamory cruising, I don't know really what to call it. And so they've gone there to basically like drink blood and have sex. It's just kind of camp, but I'm not sure if it's gonna be in a good way. It reminds me a little bit of like Sunbathers in the way that it's just like a little bit bizarre, but it's way like better written than Sunbathers. It's like well written, but it has the energy of something that's like Wattpad story. Like but it's well written. It's kind of funny. So they've got on the ship, and there's loads of like very stereotypy queer stuff, and they meet this person called Heaven, and our main character, she's kind of like suspicious of them because they seem like maybe not human, and they don't know what Heaven's intentions are, but obviously they're also there to drink blood, and Heaven is only consumed with Hugo, her husband slash brother, and she's kind of like, what about me? But there's obviously something weird going on with Heaven, who's this just like non-binary, exuberant, exerts light character. I think maybe something weird is going to be happening at the cruise. Like, I think it's not just a queer cruise. It's just, I think there's something else to it. I hope the story is going to open up and there's like this whole conspiracy or something. Like, it goes like even more camp, because that's what I'm getting from the story. I'm enjoying it, but it's not what I was expecting. Like, the cover is not representative like what I feel the book is like. So actually, now this is in frame, so I might as well tell you about it. I got this cute like homemade lamp secondhand, but it's glitching, so we're gonna have to fix it. I can show you some of the stuff that we've been doing. I was doing a lot of bookkeeping and like figuring out bookkeeping program. We were sort of mapping out a little bit like how the front counter is gonna look, but you can see it's like quite a bit shorter than the back counter, so we were still figuring that out. I picked up this table yesterday, which was super cute. I was thinking of having like specific recommendations or new releases or something on this wall, and I wanted like a cute little table under it. This one we're gonna keep white. We still haven't found like the bookshelves that are gonna be here. But here is like an assortment of bookshelves that we don't really know where is gonna go, but we just kind of collected them. This table, this cute little green table, I found at like the Gjenbruk station, which is basically like free stuff that people are anyways gonna throw away and you can like pick it up. So I found this one for free, which is amazing because it's so cute. And it also fits there, but I think it's nicer with like the round table. I did a one layer of the polish for these, so I wanted to do like a trial run, and I'm gonna continue with that today. We got pink paint for the bathroom. It's gonna be like a list and the doors on the inside. We wanna do like a pink pee-pee club bathroom. Pink poo poo pee pee club bathroom with like pink prints and stuff, because it's so small and so like, I don't want to say icky, but it's just very like Danish Copenhagen bathroom. I can show you. It's literally just this little corner. So the plan is to make like the lists and stuff from the inside. Let me see if I can. This is black for some horrible reason. And had to start like sanding this down, and there's actually pink under it, and the door is green under here. So anyways, we're gonna paint this pink. Today I'm gonna get started with painting like the lists, like at the bottom around the doors and stuff, like here, these yellow, because we've kind of divided it like this is the yellow room, and then there's like a green room, and then it's gonna be a blue and orangey room, or like a more colorful room. And then we have the pink bathroom, obviously. So I think that's cool. But I had this, okay, this is what I was gonna say. Had this is gonna be away for school stuff for 3 days-ish. And so I had this ambition that I would be super productive. But something's also like going wrong with Olaf, like he's losing mobility, like one of the bunnies. And so I have to take him to get a CT scan tomorrow morning. So I'm not gonna be able to be like as productive as I thought, but I think I would still like push through and try to get as much done as possible, because it's taking so long to like open, and I'm so anxious to open. Okay, I feel like you can tell how tired I am. It's 8 o'clock. And I did like a first coat of the lists on most of the places, and then I did like a second coat here and down here. And I'm gonna call it a day. And it's like so little work, and it's an all-day job. And I'm just like, how? But I haven't been reading. I'm very excited to just get home, make something quick for food. And then I'm waking up early tomorrow to take Olaf to get a CT scan. Fun. I'm home. And it's like actually snowing outside, which is so wild. I think I'm like 30-something%, 36% maybe on the book. I'm gonna read a little bit. I ordered some take out ordered in because it's late and I wanted to not stress myself and I can't. And I was thinking maybe I'll watch, like, because I finished Buffy the Vampire Slayer, obviously, but there's a spin-off series that I believe called Angel. So I was thinking maybe I would do that also, like, for the sake of this vlog. This book, yeah, I'm on 36%. It's reminding me of some other book, like some other, like, campy, queer, very superficial, everyone's unlikable, monster-y book. Influencer type book, but I cannot place what book it's reminding me of, which is really frustrating. But yeah, everyone's so unlikable. There's not like one character in this that's redeemable anyway. Like they give me the ick, all of them. It's also the main character, because we're kind of reading it, like the narrator's voice is like one of the woman in the couple. She used like the F word to describe something, and I think it's like in our culture today, we've kind of like, the way, you know, we've reclaimed like queer, and then gay men reclaimed the F word, and it's like, it's almost sometimes we're moving into the territory of like anyone can say that word. I'm not a fan of that. Like, I feel like if it has been used against you, then you can't really claim it, you know? Like, if that word applies to people like you, I get it. This specific author using it, and using it for a character who's also using, like a woman who's using it, the cis woman using it, is what I'm assuming. It just it gives me a little bit of an ick. But also these characters are clearly supposed to be unlikable, so I don't know. I want something bad to happen to them. I don't know if, I feel like something bad's going to happen to them, and I'm rooting for whatever bad is going to happen to them, for them to win. I don't know. They're just like the most unlikable, like famous-esque vampires, and they don't age, and no one bats an eye, and they're just like, ah, despicable. But I'm excited to like keep reading. It is well written, kind of like it's engaging, but I'm just like, the story's kind of meh, like where's this going? Heaven is clearly not a human. They're muse, but like the two main characters, they like to have this view of like we're in control, but they're clearly like not in control. But yeah, I'm gonna read some until food arrives, and then I'm probably gonna watch Angel. Painting at the pond now and listening to podcasts and stuff, but because the like vet visit with Olaf took like longer than I expected, I ended up reading like a lot in the waiting room and on the train. I think I'm like almost 90% through, I only have 10% left, and it's so weird. Like the book, I'm not really sure where it's going. I also don't have like a grasp on like exactly how like the creatures and stuff work in this book, and it's being like ambiguous on purpose. And like even when the main characters are talking about like feeding and stuff, I mean, it's called Vampires at Sea, like we know that they're vampires, but like there's no on page action of them like sucking blood. Weird. And it seems like the main like vampire aspect of it is like, oh, well, we know what's happening, like the blood sucking, it's like implied, and like the immortality. But then also like the biggest part of the book is like their glamour, kind of, and how they're always able to like get their way somehow, which is interesting. And both this one and Thirst, the whole vampire thing about like not being able to be in the sun is not a factor whatsoever, which I also find interesting. Thirst was like, other than that, quite classical with like the blood, immortality, even like you can't be captured in like a mirror. So yeah, I have no clue where it's going. All I will say is that I'm very happy that this book is a novella. Like the story is good for a novella. Like I really don't think I would have liked it at all if it was a longer book, which is nice. I'm very excited to finish it and start Hungerstone, because it's a bit longer. It's like 300 plus pages, and I am in the mood to get into a longer story, because I think novellas just, I don't know why, but it drains me to read shorter books more than it drains me to like read longer books. But yeah, I'm doing the second layer here. I did some oiling of the bookshelves. I'm hoping to finish these lists today, so I'm gonna do a third layer as well, and hopefully that will be enough. But it's looking a lot better. And had this as fear was that it was gonna look like traffic lines, and it's a little bit looking like that. But I think it's gonna be okay, especially when I get on the third layer. It's gonna be a little more darker. We'll see. Time to go home. I'm home and I made some girl dinner noodles. I'm gonna watch Agatha All Along. I ended up ditching Angel yesterday. I watched like 10 minutes and I was like, no, I'm not gonna like this. I started watching Agatha All Along because 2 of my friends recommended it to me in the same day. And I watched 2 episodes and I'm really not vibing with it, which is shocking because I usually like popular stuff on TV. I finished the book on the metro on the way home. The ending was like, huh? Like, I was actually quite enjoying it. I was thinking, okay, this book is gonna take it like to the next step. But it almost ended up being like a character study of all these like unlikable characters. And I wanted kind of like more vampire stuff, to be honest. And less of just like unfortunate, super unique character exploration. It's just, I don't know what to think, to be honest. I wanted to give it a 3-star, but the ending just didn't have the punch that I feel like the author thought that it had. Maybe it's just me. I think it definitely is just like different people will like different stuff about it. I haven't read anything like it before. I'll say that. I'll probably give it like 2.75 stars. That seems about right. But yeah, I'm gonna watch episode 3 of Agatha All Along, and then I'm gonna start Hunger Stone. But yeah, it's already 9:30, so. Okay, friends, let's have a little breather before we start the day. I think it's past 12. It's snowing outside, which is really cool, like pretty snow. But yeah, I started Hunger Stone yesterday, and what's really cool about this book is that the cover is a painting that's referenced in Thirst. Like, they explicitly talk in depth, like Marina talks in depth about this painting and like the feelings it gives off and the representation of it. And then Hungerstone uses that painting as a front cover, which is really fun. So the book starts off in 1888. I believe, and you follow this woman who I've forgotten the name of. She's 30 years old, childless, and married to this man that's just kind of meh. And we've gotten some exposition regarding like her past and how her mother was killed in like a crash, basically, and she managed to survive, became an orphan. That's all we know so far. I'm not really sure like what page I'm on. And then in 1888, we learn that she and her husband are going to this new town. First scene, the opening scene, is like her getting her period, and the flashbacks of like her in the crash with her mother is also very bloody, and there's like a lot of blood description and like themes already, which I think is kind of fun. But it's written in like an old-timey way, and I'm not a huge fan of like gothic stories, which is like, oh, why then read vampires? You know, it's like the most gothic thing ever. But I'm still like enjoying it. I was definitely captivated by the story, and I'm excited to see like what happens, because I literally have no clue what this book is about, which is really exciting. And I'm also excited to read a longer book. So yeah, I'm enjoying it, but nothing supernatural so far. It's just kind of like regular 1800s feminist book so far. We'll see. So today, the journey continues. I'm probably gonna do a 4th layer on the lists. I don't know if this is just me, but I feel like everyone else when they're painting does like 1 or 2 coats of something. And every time I paint, I feel like it's not opaque enough, and I have to do like 3 or 4 coats like every single time. And I don't know if I'm doing something wrong. I don't know if the paint in Denmark is just different. But yeah, and there's some really tricky places, and I'm just like tired of doing this. My knees really hurt, and I'm gonna continue to varnish the shelves too. I'm just really tired of being in this process, because like now we're coming to the end of the 2nd month that we've like had this place and paid rent, and just it's the financial aspect of it like stresses me out a lot that we can't get this open. And you know, because it is like a queer space, you know, there's so many people who want to help, and I would love to like just be like, yes, come help with this and that. And it's just like I have so many like internal issues that I need to work through when it comes to like just like delegating tasks to other people. Like I have trust issues, like even when it comes to just like painting things, like not that I'm like excellent at it, but just like a random person that I don't know saying like, yeah, just paint the list, my body goes like, oh my god, no, like I have no control over how good they are or what they do, and it's like, why? And it's the most annoying thing, like this stupid thing is stopping me from getting help, and it's like toxic individualism, and it's detrimental to all the things that I want to do, which is so annoying. It's like feeding into like my perfectionism a little bit. But we're really trying to like prioritize the things that we need to get done to open the place. But even that, it's like the plumber is impossible to get a hold of. As soon as we get the plumber to do the stuff and things, it's like he's already started. It's like more than halfway. So we're at the end. And as soon as he does that, we can get the coffee machine, which is like, and then we put up the bookshelves and then order the books, and that's everything that needs to be done. But now I'm just kind of like wasting time doing this other stuff. Not wasting time, because we do want to paint and stuff, but it's not a necessity. So it's just been a lot, and I'm really tired, and like I need to be fed the energy from like having people interact with the space, and when like the actual physical thing of like not having the space open is not happening, I feel like it's more draining than like rewarding. But we'll get there. So today we're gonna keep doing the same thing we've done for the last 3 days and hopefully finish the lists. I'll definitely finish the list. It's been a long day. You can tell how tired I look today. I finished the 4th layer on the list, and I think they're looking a lot better. I'm not doing any more, so this better be good. This is what it's looking like in here. These ones are done. If I only do 2 layers, which I'm hoping, I'm gonna do a quick other layer on some of the other ones, and when that's dry, I've finished with all of these, which is super exciting. And then I'm gonna spend a couple of hours with a friend who's recovering from top surgery, and then it's burgers and Survivor tonight. It is Friday, but since Hadis had been away, we haven't been able to watch it. We weren't able to watch it yesterday. So today will be burgers and Survivor, but it will be a little late. Haven't read anything more.
What?
Yeah.
Voting on the song.
Valerie helped me put up the first set of bookshelves, which is huge because, should I zoom out a little bit? Because it took me so long to even do these and finish these. It's been a mess. So this is super exciting. And then I was prepping some graphics for these shelves. These will be like community recommendation shelves, so that anyone who's queer and in Denmark can basically curate a shelf, and they can make it whatever they want, which is a fun way to like engage people when we can't really have like staff. So I was kind of like designing these little signs a little bit to take a break, have some coffee. But yeah, it's looking okay. Like, I mean, right now it looks very strange with these two, but I think it's gonna look okay once the books are there. And then we're kind of moving stuff around a little bit to see if it's better in a different way. I mean, yesterday I found this, and you're like, what is that? I'm not really sure. It looks like it was some sort of bench, maybe outside somewhere. I basically decided to take it. It's so heavy, but I decided to take it, and we were thinking we could make it like part of the counter, which could be really cute. It's gonna be a bit of an odd counter now with this on one side and this on the other side, but it's like perfect. It's just like, it just fits. It just makes sense. I'm gonna clean it is what I've decided to do now. Yeah, did I also mention I really hate the yellow color that was supposed to be on the lists? And we were supposed to paint that yellow color also on this orange table. But it was supposed to be like more orange, the yellow, and it just like is not the color we want it to be. And now I'm thinking like displaying books with a yellow background, like it's just not, I don't want to do that. I don't think it's gonna look nice. So now we're trying to figure out other ways that it can look nice. Like if we put this table there, I found a table on like DBA, which is basically Danish like Facebook marketplace, that I'm picking up tomorrow. And it's so pretty. It looks like this one, but like, I don't know, or we don't need it, but also I think it could be so cute. It was just so pretty. I loved it. I've also been putting the varnish on here. We're working our way through it. I only have these ones left that are like not done at all, but I still need to do quite a few coats on these. But things are coming along Obviously, there's still like so much to do. Like, we don't have the coffee machine. I can't get a hold of the plumber. We don't have the lamps to contact the electrician and like do the final little things. I have to order the books. We don't have like supplier for most of like the drink things or like have a menu. But yeah, I'm gonna start with cleaning this thing, I think. I thought while I was doing this, the bookshelves, I would tell you about, I was almost gonna call the book Carmilla, Hungerstone, because I started reading it and then like they come across this wagon that's fallen over, there's this woman inside, and they take her into the house, like in this new house that our main character is renovating, and she needs like medical care basically, so this woman's staying at the house, and then when she introduces herself, she says, my name is Carmilla, and in my head I'm like, ding ding ding, I know this name. I know about like basically the oldest written down vampire story, Carmilla, that I have not read. And then I looked up the plot for Carmilla, and it's basically just like exactly Hungerstone. So now I'm like, doy, this is like a retelling of Carmilla. And then I had a moment where I'm like, well, should I stop reading this and go and read Carmilla and then like come back to Hungerstone, just because like what if there are like fun Easter eggs or like exciting things to discover in like regards to like how the two books like relate to each other. But then I decided no, like I'm sure this book is gonna be good either way, like Hungerstone, like I'm enjoying it. And then I get to read Carmilla afterwards, because I think I'd rather be spoiled for Carmilla than be spoiled for Hungerstone, I think. And I mean, so far, because it's such like a kind of like accurate retelling, I'm thinking the ending will anyways like be different, and I don't really like canceling my reading and reading something else in the middle of it. So I'm just going to keep reading Hungerstone, but for you, keeping in mind that I haven't read Carmilla, my thoughts might be a little ignorant, certain things that are happening, or my opinion on it, basically. But that makes me excited about reading Carmilla. I think it's written by a man though, which makes me less excited. I'm thinking Hungerstone is gonna be more of like a retelling, but exaggerated, like the explicitity of the lesbianism, I guess, which also I'm into. I'm enjoying it so far. I haven't read a lot. I think I read 25% of the book, like 1/4. But yeah, it's like more difficult to find time for reading now that this is home and also like busy with all of this. But yeah, my favorite part about like doing these reading vlogs is that I always end up reading more, which is like, it's not a lot more because I'm not reading that much these days anyways, but I do still like get that push to like want to talk about the book and like keep reading so I can keep updating you, and also so I can finish the vlog, you know? So then I get more excited about reading, and the more I read, the more excited I get, and the more vlog, the more I read. It's just like, it's very nice. I really enjoy vlogging and reading. So, we're just having hot dogs for dinner. I'm cooking those and I'm taking it pretty chill. I ended up taking the wrong metro and then going one stop too far and having to wait 6 minutes and then take it back and then wait 6 minutes again to get to where I was supposed to go because I was reading Hungerstone. And the book is actually quite frustrating. Like, it's very in your face with the feminist themes, like women's struggles, and especially like at this time, like I find it obvious that it would be like a driving force. I think it's just like maybe the way the author is doing it, because Leonora, who's our main character, Leonore, she has like so much trauma from like growing up with her like emotionally abusive aunt. Whenever something comes up with like Henry, her husband, it just feels like, oh, this is like bringing me back and like reawakening this trauma from living with my aunt or like my parents being in a crash, which is like understandable, but it's like, and then we jump back in time and I get to experience that memory. It's just like such like parallel like correlations, like, oh, I'm having a traumatic experience from like being treated the same way or having to act in this way because of like stuff and things. And it's just like a little tiresome to have the character exposition and trauma being like told that way. Just because it feels like very repetitive, and also I feel like humans don't function that way. I would say that usually I don't go like, oh my god, this in the moment, you know, this person said this to me, which like made me relive my trauma from when I experienced this as a child. Like that's just not how I feel like brains usually work. And so it feels like sort of unnatural and just for like the purpose of the story. And then on top of that, it's like, I feel like she's a little dumb. You know, Carmilla comes in and she's all like, your husband is shit. You're only doing this stuff for him. What are your pleasures? Like, do you ever get to do what you want? You know, and she's like trying to like coax these things out of her. And Leonore is just like getting super mad at her. And it's like, okay, so you're able to draw these like complex like trauma patterns and behavioral like, or like your experiences to past events, but you're not able to understand that you are mad because she's telling the truth. Like, I don't know. It's just like, and very frustrating to read. It's taking like Leonore like a long time. It's a lot of fizzle, isn't it? Can you even hear me? It's taking her such a long time to like, it's just not very, it's not that it's not skillfully written, but it doesn't have a lot of like finesse, is what I will say. I am excited to see how like things kind of play out. I also like the added element of realizing what her husband does for a living and like the supremacist capitalist ways that in which he operates and like doesn't care about his like factory employees and stuff. Like she's trying to like realize these things, and I like that element of the story. I feel like it's fairly obvious that, you know, she'll finally indulge in like the pleasures that Carmilla opens her up to. I'm excited to see how, but still, I'm a little like tired of this section of the story. I feel like not much is happening, and sausage. How's it going?
Bad. It keeps wanting to go a certain way. It's just not straight. Is that okay?
Screw it all the way in.
I know. No, I did that.
You're not supposed to do that.
I know. I got a haircut today. I haven't gotten one since like 2020, which is huge. Very exciting. We did the bookshelves today. If you look at them, or part of it, there's gonna be 2 more under this. But if you look at them, you're like, wow, that's really crooked. But the fact is that the bookshelves are straight, but the wall, sorry, not the wall is crooked. But like the ceiling is crooked, it goes up here, which makes the bookshelves look really crooked, but they're not. Which is annoying. The bookshelves are finished. Ah! How cool is that? So, these are the bookshelves in this room. I think this will be like middle grade, young adult. And then we'll make some sort of like cute kids section here that also has like parenting books up here. And I mean, I showed you this already. No, I didn't. We finished this too. These tables will go back. I'm at like 73% or something of Hunger Stone. And at like the 50% mark, it like really switched tempo. Like there was like this huge climax thing that happened, and it definitely got me like more engaged with the book and the story, like I was just like, well, what's gonna happen now? Like this is the big climax. And at that point the book was like a page turner, you know? And now that we're at like 70% or 73 or something, I'm like, where is the story going from here? Like what is the ending of this? Like what will be satisfying? I don't know. I'm very excited to keep reading. I'm probably still only gonna give it like 3.5 stars, even though at this point I am really enjoying it. Just because it's just the writing is not really for me. It feels a little dumb, which I hate to say about a book, but I almost wish it went deeper, because I think that the way it's written, it over explores certain things and doesn't like relieve the right things to up for interpretation or mystery. It's a little bit too in your face for me, I think. Compared to like Thirst that I read earlier in this video. It's a lot more subtle, and I think in general I do like books that are more subtle, unless it's like the opposite of that, where it's like super satire. I can definitely get into that too. But this one's just kind of in between and like a little bit of an awkward stage, I guess. It's not totally my vibe. Oh my god, I'm just so excited about this. The next 2 days we're gonna tackle this counter area. We're gonna put this thing together, the front counter, which will be huge. Also, we're painting the bathroom pink. You might have seen. It will be this door, and then on the inside, this is the inside of the door, the inside frame. I don't know how much you can see, but it's a little swirly, twirly, kind of funky vibe. Just to do something fun in here. That is it for today. It's like 6 o'clock. I'm gonna read Hungerstone on the metro on the way home. Maybe I'll take the bus all the way. That'd be nice. Finish the Hungerstone today and hopefully finish this vlog. Very exciting that we got the bookshelves up in this video. I'll do another video once we've like finished basically everything, more or less, talking about this project, showing you around with the books. Very exciting. Super, super exciting. Super duper. I'm gonna order the books now. Next up, order books. How epic is that? Okay. That's it for today. So, it's fairly early-ish in the morning. I'm still at home, about to head out to the pond, but I wanted to do like a little ending clip to this vlog as it has come to the end. It's sunny outside, which is amazing. Hungerstone, I ended up giving it 3.5 stars. But I would say that I enjoyed it more than a 3.5 in general. It just like really picked up speeds, and I think it got a little bit more nuanced, and I particularly enjoyed like the conversation about revenge towards the end, which I thought was like kind of interesting and kind of different than like a regular revenge type story. I also feel like I want to explain when I said feminist thieves, I'm like, what is a feminist? It's like, could be anything and so much, you know, it's like very all-encompassing term. But essentially, you know, like this woman has grown up thinking that what she needs to be is like the perfect wife, and that is what she wants, and that's how she'll be like happy and fulfilled. And she's just slowly starting to unravel like how much it actually holds her back, and instead of giving her the freedom she thought she wanted, it's like just another prison for her. And so it's like her dealing with being there for someone else, like prioritizing her own needs, what are her own wants, like she's never listened to her own wants, and her learning to do that. And even though that's like very extreme in this like 1800s marriage in England, I think a lot of people who have been socialized as women know what this is, or like what this feels like, or how you have to like unlearn certain parts of it. So I think it was like a cool book in the way that, yeah, the message is like very obvious, but also how is this still applicable today, you know? Of course it is, and I think a lot of people can like, I did feel like enraged while reading the book, you know? Like I felt like, yeah, I'm not gonna take anyone's shit anymore, you know? So I think that like the book did its job, and I think at the end of the day, the reason why I'm giving it 3.5 is literally just my personal taste. Like this is a good book, and I think a lot of people will really love it, and like have already really loved it by looking at like reviews online so far. My critique of this book in regards to vampires is very similar as to Vampires at Sea, where it's like, this is a vampire book, give me more vampire action. I want to see the blood, I want to see the biting, I want to see the sucking. I'm serious. I feel like both of those books, especially Hungerstone, could have just had more vampire-ish elements. Like, the word vampire is never mentioned. Carmilla, whether she's like a vampire or not, is only implied to the reader because we know more about the book. But like in the story, she's just kind of like a person. Ish. I'll leave it at that. You know, I just wanted more vampire. I feel like I was reading these books for like the vampire aspect of it, and I just didn't feel quite as satiated as I thought I would. Thirst was definitely the most vampire like focused. So I think I'll be looking out to read more vampire stories that are specifically like very heavy on the vampire element of it. And I also said in the beginning of this vlog that these were all like lesbian vampire stories, but I would say that these are all more bisexual vampire stories, which I also think is very cool. I mean, what's more fluid than blood, am I right? Cut that. So, that brings it to the end of the reading vlog. My favorite of the bunch was Thirst, and then Hungerstone, and then Vampires at Sea. Comment down below any queer vampire stories that you've enjoyed, or recommendations, or know about, or want to read. Do you have a specific kind of like supernatural thing in books that you gravitate towards? Because I would love to know. I guess mine is vampires. It always has been since I was a tween, since I was 11 years old and finishing Breaking Dawn. Let's not analyze that right now. Okay, I wish you all an amazing, wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching this vlog. Don't forget to follow The Pond on Instagram at the.pond.cph. That would really mean a lot to me as I'm starting this adventure. I'll chat with y'all soon. Have a good day. Take care of yourself and your loved ones. Mwah. Bye.